Hey guys, FJH here, and today I'm doing a night photo shoot. And what's cool about this video is I'm going to explain all the different gear that I'm using and all the different settings that I decided to go with, as well as explain why I'm using the certain gear that I'm using. Typically for my behind the scenes videos, I do just show you guys the behind the scenes video with some music on it. But for this video, I wanted to be a little bit more in depth about why I'm doing certain things and explain also the settings and the reasoning for those settings as well. The lighting that I'm going to be using today are two Godox RS60R can size lights. They're RGB lights. They have a lot of power, 60 watts of power. And I'm going to be using them with these glow pair snap modifiers. And what's cool about these modifiers is that you can actually connect the Godox RS60R magnetically to this little attachment here. Godox actually makes a battery grip that can power the ML100R, so that's what I'm going to be using today as well. Also forgot to mention that I am using the Cheetah Stand C light stands because they're very convenient because they can do this. And of course, the last piece of equipment is going to be me, the photographer, and Ashley, my wife here, as the assistant, the light stand holder, the voice activated light stand. So the very first thing that we decided to do was fix the pose, and right now we decided that this pose would work best. She is holding something that's a bit of a tool, but we're gonna replace that with a knife using AI. But right now what we're gonna do is just break down the lighting. I'm gonna break down the settings as I take them. So I'm gonna show you guys what I wouldn't do in terms of settings and then what I would do specifically for this night scene. One thing that I was trying to figure out right now was if I should go at a low angle or a higher angle, and I decided to go a little bit of a higher angle, even though I decided to do low angles more often than not, because when I got to a lower angle, I felt like there was a lot of darkness in the back of her, and I didn't really want to necessarily have just nothing but darkness in the back. So I got a little bit of a higher angle, and that allowed me to get a little bit more interesting background behind her. So let me just show you guys exactly what I mean. I have my settings set so you guys can see her in the photo, but these aren't going to be my final settings. But as you can see, when I take a shot with a lower angle, I'm going to take that shot and you guys can see exactly what I mean. 1, 2, and 3. As you guys can see on the screen, there is a bit of that sky behind her, and I just felt like it was not as interesting as if I got to a higher angle. So let's take that higher angle shot now. 1, 2, and 3. With this image, I just felt like it was a lot nicer, and I actually like the exact placement of where those street lights are on behind her. But like I said before, these aren't my final settings. I just had them exposed so you guys can see exactly what's going on in the scene. So let me just change the settings now. I did have the settings at 1/140th of a second shutter speed, ISO 3200 at f2 with the widest aperture on this Viltrox 85 f2 EVO. But I don't want those settings for the final shot. Whenever you shoot at night, you can decide if you want to shoot at a slower shutter or if you want to raise your ISO. For me, with shaky hands, what I will typically do is go towards a faster shutter and then just raise the ISO. So that's exactly what I did for this photo shoot. I'm going to change my shutter speed from 1/40th to 1/125th, and I'm going to raise my ISO, or actually lower my ISO, from 3200 to about 1250. So now when I take a shot, you guys can see that the settings are pretty much exposed just for that background. 1, 2, and 3. Now that I have my background exposed how I want it, now I can start to add in my lighting. I have this light, which is a 60 watt light set to 60%. Earlier when I was changing the power level, I was seeing that it was too weak at the default setting of 20%. So I just raised it to 60%. 1, 2, and 3. That shot looks pretty good, but I wanted to make it a lot more interesting. So I'm actually going to add a secondary light, another RS60R set to red, and that's going to be getting a little bit of a rim light to her left side. Camera left, but her right. I'll take another shot. 1, 2, and 3. When I took that shot, I thought it looked pretty interesting now with that extra red color as a rim light, but I wanted a little bit more color in that background, and I did bring additional RGB lights. So I wanted to add just a little bit of red towards the back wall over there. Now, since there is a little bit of color on that back wall there, I'm gonna take one more shot. 1, 2, and 3. And I like this shot a lot more than that first shot that we took, but now I wanted to add that little spice to the image, and that's going to be a can of atmosphere aerosol, which is a little bit of smoke in a can. So I do have Ashley there with a can of atmosphere aerosol, and she's going to start from the lower side, because what I was seeing sometimes whenever I use this can of atmosphere aerosol is it kind of rises a little too quickly. So I want her to start a little bit lower. 1, 2, and go. Quicker, quicker, quicker. I was actually really happy with how that shot looked like. So after that, I just need to kind of add a little bit more extra stuff in terms of color grading, maybe a little bit of tweaking in exposure in Lightroom, and maybe have a little bit of fun in Photoshop with AI. One thing that I did want to let you guys know about is that this location was actually the second choice. We chose an alley, or we actually knew about an alley ahead of time that was located very close to us, but that one had different colored lights. It didn't have this nice orange glow in terms of the street lamp, but I found this one and it was a lot more interesting basically. And one thing that was really really awesome is that we actually found the TV that we're using as a prop right there by the trash can. So we got very lucky with that because it was perfect for this photo shoot. Apparently, I forgot to record an outro on location, so that's what I'm doing right now. I did want to show you guys the different versions of the photo that I was working on throughout the entire video, so that's what you're about to see on the screen. This is the completely unedited straight at camera shot. This is the Lightroom edit. And then last but not least, here is the final Photoshop edit. I did use the new Nano Banana AI to add the knife into the scene, to add the bloody scars, and to add that glow of the TV static on the TV. I did want to go over the editing in this video, but it would have made it way too long, so I might save that for another video. I'm also going to be working on a longer behind the scenes video going over other photos that you didn't see in this video from that same photo shoot. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned from it. And if you did, be sure to give the video a like and maybe even subscribe. For now, I just want to say happy Halloween, take care, and I'll see you guys in the very next video. Mm-hmm.